Welcome to the latest edition of the LL Basketball Roundtable. This is going to be the state tournament edition. Last week we talked about how disoriented we were by all the games. Right now there aren't any.
No.
It's a deep breath, and we're going to use this opportunity to break down the state tournament and what we hope is some insight and detail. My name is Mike Gross, and I'm the host of these proceedings. As always, they are brought to you by Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. Seated to my left is John Walk, who covers boys basketball for LNP, LancasterOnline.com. Jeff Reinhardt to my right does the same for the girls. And when last we spoke, we were halfway through the district finals. They were Tuesday, Thursday. Now that's all over with, and we have 12 state tournaments, 12 32-team brackets to talk about, most of which involve some of our teams. So we're going to kind of go class by class and kind of keep it moving here and start with the big schools. John Walk, 6A boys.
6A boys out of the LL League. We have Hempfield, the third place team from District 3, 24-3 overall. The Black Knights will be at home on Saturday hosting Emmaus, the third seed from District 11, Saturday at 4 o'clock. Looking at the bracket, we got them all here, so let's talk about the brackets a little bit. Should Hempfield be able to get past? More than likely, well, they'll face a pretty good team either way. The winner of Springford, District 1 run-up, or Central York, fifth place team out of District 3, who Hempfield I think has played twice already. But just that bottom half of the bracket, I like the matchups. I think Springford is probably the best team there.
Well, I don't know. State College, if we're talking about that sort of 8-team quadrant, I think State College is a team that is really playing well at the end of the year, champions of the Mid-Penn Conference. They can really shoot the three, so they're going to have a puncher's chance to beat almost anybody except maybe Roman Catholic, who is in the whole other half of the bracket. And the other wild card in Hempfield's quadrant is Pittsburgh Central Catholic, which is a really erratic team, but they've beaten some really good teams, and they beat Newcastle to win the WPIAL championship. But those two would play each other, State College and then would play each other before Hempfield. Here's a question for you, John. I don't know if you know the answer to this. Hempfield and Emmaus are both third place finishers.
Right.
So why is the team of Hempfield?
That's a good question. I do not know the answer. I'm sorry.
Because they're higher on the bracket.
Well, they're higher.
Yeah, they're higher on the bracket.
That's pretty arbitrary.
They have half the losses that Emmaus does.
I don't know. But anyway, that's 6A. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, I like puncher's chances.
Yeah,
Hempfield, if they can get out of the first round. They played Central York before, so they're familiar with that team. And then who knows? You get past next Wednesday, and
yeah, that's right.
It's not like I look at this and it's like, oh man, they're with District 1, District 12, these Philadelphia powerhouse type of teams. They're not going to get past the second. They could be playing.
You don't know how
you
don't know how it's going to work out. Two things. The favorite here is Roman Catholic.
Sure.
No question. They're in the complete other half of the bracket from all of these teams we've been talking about, including Hempfield and Reading, the District 3 champion.
Yeah.
So that's, but they won the Philly Catholic League. They're nationally ranked. Roman Catholic's going to be tough.
And there's a chance they could play Lower Marion in the second round. So
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Maybe we were kidding ourselves about the ease of that bracket that Hempfield was in. All right, 6A girls.
6A girls, 2 LL teams dancing. Friday night, first up, Lebanon at Haverford. The Fords are tough. They have one loss, and that was to Perkiomen Valley in the District 1 title game. So
the Fords.
They went into that game 27-0 and lost. So just one loss. Tough trip for Lebanon. Cedars have had a great year, 26-2. Picked a bad time for the 2 losses, LL finals, and then the district quarters, but they won 2 games in districts in the comeback round. And they got a tricky trip here to Haverford. Manheim Township. They play, enjoy the bus ride, ladies. They play at North Allegheny on Friday night out in Wexford, which is a Pittsburgh suburb. I think it's a 6 o'clock game. Township got the last seed in District 3. They beat York last week in the win or go home game. Second year in a row, and 3 out of 4 the Township's gone to states. Last year in the first round, Township lost to the eventual 6A state champ. Plymouth White Marsh, which ended up going 30-0 and winning the whole thing. So this year they got to
I
play the
think that
Whitfield
was the
champ.
best girls team we saw last year. That was
Yeah,
the best
they
girls
were really good. So this year Township draws North Allegheny. They're really good. 6A girls bracket. I have 4 teams circled. Perkiomen Valley at the top, 27-1, District 1 champs. They're really good. Easton, District 11
okay.
champ, just 1 loss. They've had a great season. Cedar Cliff, the District 3 champ,
Undefeated.
and I'm looking at the 6A bracket here, and they're the only team with a goose egg in the loss column. So
And they're in the bottom half.
and they're in the
right
bottom
there.
half.
Yeah.
And the other team I like down there is Haverford with just 1 loss. So 6A girls, it's going to be a slugfest everywhere.
This
Great
Perkiomen
matchups.
Valley, we think of them as Philly area, sort of.
Yeah.
They've played a District 1 schedule. They have not played the Archbishop Woods and people like that.
No.
Their only losses to Springford. They beat Springford 3 times.
Yeah,
They
beat
played them 4 times.
Yeah,
unless I'm reading it wrong.
They closed the game on a 17-0 run to come back and beat Springford in the District 1 final. So that's pretty impressive. 6A girls, flip a coin.
There you go.
Flip a coin.
5A. Now, we always have lots of people in 5A. John, work with me.
Work with us. All right, so we got 3 teams out of the LL League. I guess I'll start at the top. Warwick, at the top of the bracket, 6th place team out of District 3. They've kind of faltered here late in the season. They're a young team without any seniors, so it's good experience for them getting here. Remember, they made it to, second round of states last year, went down to the wire, came back from 16, went to overtime, almost won it.
They really got a tough one here, though.
They have a tough one. An undefeated Radnor, District 1, 27-0. That's going to be a tough matchup. I want to stay in that top half of the bracket because there's a couple teams that we should mention. West Philadelphia, 15-11 overall, but again, tough schedule, District 12 team. Imhotep Charter is up there, 25-3 overall, the District 12 champion. What do you know about Imhotep Charter? They're probably one of the best teams in the state.
They're one of the
regardless
best teams
class.
in the country.
Yeah.
They're going to win this state championship.
Right.
So
Bottom
let's
half of the
let's
bracket.
just remove the suspense.
Bottom
Okay,
half
yeah.
of the bracket. Okay, we have Exeter, the District 3 champion, who beat Manheim Central in the District 3 5A final last Thursday. Hershey's Giants Center. Mike and I were both at that one. Pretty good game.
Yep.
You know, who knows? Maybe, state quarters or state semis, whatever it would be, if those teams would meet. I would still like.
They're in
Central
the other
getting
half from
another
Imhotep,
chance.
which is
That's what you want.
Right. So Lampeter Strasburg will go to Central Mountain, the District 6 champion. Central Mountain is 24-2 overall. These matchups are Friday, March 10th. Manheim Central will be home, technically in Lancaster County on Friday night at Manheim Township High School, 5:30 p.m. tip against Mars. 6th place team from District 7. Last time Mars was in the state playoffs, they lost in an upset to Elizabethtown. Manheim Central, they are only the 2nd team to make the state playoffs, and I believe they're still, a win Friday would make them just the 2nd team to win a state playoff game. I like their chances there.
I think they got a pretty good. Again, if you're looking at that 8-team quadrant, I think they made out pretty well. The team that would scare me a little bit there is Penn Hills, which won the WPIAL. They only have 3 losses. That was the team that handled Lampeter Strasburg last year in the state playoffs, if you remember. And they were pretty good and athletic and tough, and that would be the one that would concern me. But I think Central did okay if I'm looking at the big picture of this. Again, Imhotep's going to win it, so it's...
Derek Grube, father of Trey Grube, sent me a picture of Trey's list of goals for the season. It only one is left, which is being an all-state pick. But among those was qualifying for states. And okay, check that off. I would think the Barons have more than a good chance than just qualifying. They can get past Friday.
And I think he's going to be all-state too. I think he's going to get some all-state
for a while for sure. So we like the Barons' chances just as far as 5A LL League teams that are still going to be playing beyond this Friday. Barons got a good shot.
Nice.
5A girls.
5A girls, Barons, Manheim Central, only LL team in this bracket. Gassing up the bus on Saturday, headed to Monroeville, Gateway High School. Barons will play Oakland Catholic, the Whitfield runner-up. That's traditionally a very strong program from the Pittsburgh area. They lost to South Fayette in the Whitfield final. South Fayette's the team that beat LS last year in the first round, back-to-back Whitfield champs. Central lost district quarters, came back through the consolation round, won 2 games handily, got it back. qualified here. Central won its first state playoff game last year for the first time in program history, so we'll see if they can get number 2 here. Maddie Nyer, 2,027 points. We'll see how many more she can tack on.
Central is at least, here's the good news, they're at least in the opposite half of the bracket from Westchester Ruston, which
Yep,
is
they're good.
apparently had apparently a good team, and Archbishop Wood,
And
who we
Wood.
know
Yeah.
is good every year, although they did not win the Catholic League this
They
year.
did not, but they played probably the best schedule in the state every year. Wood
Yeah.
just plays in these crazy tournaments, and they go to Arizona, and they go to D.C., and they go everywhere. So do not count out Archbishop Wood here. One undefeated team in this bracket, District 6 champ Hollidaysburg is undefeated, and they actually get Lower Dauphin, the team that Manheim Central beat to get their seed. So LD gets a shot at undefeated Hollidaysburg. Like Ruston there at the top, really like Wood. South Fayette, a district champ at the bottom, keep an eye on them. But if I was a betting man, I would say Archbishop Wood. There's not much that they haven't seen this time of year.
Right.
They've been here a ton. They
Seems like
usually
they're
win
there
it.
every year.
So,
Seems like
yeah,
we see them at the state finals every year.
exactly. So that would not stun me at all to see Archbishop Wood standing.
4A boys.
4A
John Wall.
boys. We got one Lancaster Lebanon League squad in Octorara making their first state
Good for
playoff
them.
appearance since 2015. Fourth under Coach Gene Lambert, looking for their first state playoff win since 2012. They got some tough sledding in Scranton Prep, who's very much used to being here. This is overall, I think, Scranton's 24th state playoff appearance. Last year, they went down to the wire with Newman Goretti, the eventual state champ. I'm not sure how many players Scranton Prep brought back.
Yeah, they're
from
not
there.
as good, but
Scranton
they have
Prep is the
9
district-
losses. But they play they have some pretty good wins.
Scranton Prep
That's-
is the
yeah.
District 2 champion, and by the way, the winner of this gets the winner of Bishop Shanahan, the District 1 champ, and Audenried,
Audenried.
which is
Audenried, yeah.
4th place team. So you get a District 1 or District 12 team in the second round should you win there. So one of the tough sledding among LL League squads, Octorara for sure.
What I said about Imhotep in 5A, I'll say
Yes.
about Newman Goretti in 4A.
Yes.
They're going to win the state championship.
Boom.
So good luck Middletown, which gets them in the first
Oh,
round in Philly.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what we're looking at there in 4A. Berks Catholic in the other half of the bracket from District 3. You could see them playing for a while.
Yeah, because we're with District 3, District 4, District 7 teams, District
Yeah,
10
that
teams.
doesn't
and
look
I'm
too
looking
bad
at
for them,
other
yeah.
opponents in the bottom half of the bracket. I'm not entirely scared by them. I don't know much about Lincoln Park, the Whippeal champion.
Lincoln
25
Park
and
is a legitimate team.
Right.
They're a legitimate team. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're quite at Newman Goretti's level.
Sure.
But they would probably be the number 2 pick here, I
Sure.
would think. Yeah. All right, Jeffrey.
4A girls, no locals, and actually, one 4A LL made the postseason. That was Northern Lebanon way back, like 3 weeks ago, and they lost in the first round. So there's been no 4As. So eyeballing the 4A girls bracket, here's the teams that stand out, and I think these two will be on a collision course. Lansdale Catholic, District 12 champ, they're on a roll here. That's
Philly
the team.
Catholic League.
Yeah, they're really good.
They beat Archbishop
They
Wood,
beat
Archbishop
Wood.
Carroll, those people. Yeah.
They beat Wood at the Palestra, packed house at the Palestra. That's the team that knocked out Lancaster Catholic last year in the first round and ended up going to the state finals. They're really good. So Lansdale Catholic, I think, in the upper bracket, look out. Bottom bracket, and again, I think this could be a collision course. Pittsburgh North Catholic, 3 losses, but a great schedule in the Whippeal, which is pretty strong in this class. I think they're on a collision course. Punxsutawney down there, the Chucks, with just one loss, they could run into North Catholic in the bottom bracket. There's a lot of local flavor up top. Delone Catholic is up there. Eastern York is up there. Berks Catholic is up there. So we'll see how our District 3 teams fare. But to me, Lansdale Catholic and North Catholic Pittsburgh are on a collision course. That's what I see in 4A.
There you have it. Nothing to add. 3A boys.
3A
John
boys,
Wall.
we got one school, and they probably have the toughest matchup of all the Lancaster County schools in the states in Columbia, 3rd seed out of District 3, Class 3A. They will play on Saturday night at West Philadelphia High School against West Catholic, District 12 champ, who Mike says is among the best teams in the state, regardless of class. And by the way, the Tide come into this having lost 3 of their last 4. even though they had a really hot start to the season in the sense that in that top half of the bracket, I mean, a couple matches below them is the District 11 champion Executive Education. Columbia beat them back December 6th.
Yeah. I would just say this about West Catholic. We were saying this same stuff about them a year ago at this time, and I think they lost in the second round. They're a little erratic, and remember, these Philadelphia Catholic League teams, the Catholic League is more important to them than the state playoffs. So they're kind of like, our season's this is kind of the epilogue to our season a little bit. So I'm trying to bend over backwards to state a case for Columbia here, but West Catholic seems a little erratic. They do have 10 losses.
And for what it's worth, they probably play a style that maybe favors Columbia in getting up and down.
That might be a frantic one. Yeah.
If you're a Columbia team not facing like a DeLone that's trying to play half court and zone and slow you down, if it's just back and forth, and sure, who knows?
And a couple other teams to mention here: Trinity, the District 3 champion, which has 6'11" and 6'7", and a sophomore guard who's terrific. I mean, they're in the same half as West Catholic. And the other one is Our Lady of Sacred Heart, which had won 70-some games in a row, 2 straight state championships. They're not quite at that level. They have 5 losses, but they're in there. They're in the other half of the bracket. They're still dancing.
I'm just going to guess that the 3A final, whenever that happens, March 25th, it'd probably be a large margin of victory there, because whoever comes out of the top half of the bracket, you would think would be favored for sure. Anyways.
All right. Let's go to 3A girls.
3A girls, 3 LLs dancing here. So we could be playing a while here in the 3A bracket. Pequea Valley up first, the 3rd seed out of District 3. Road trip for the Braves. They go to Philly on Friday night. They'll play Imhotep Charter, just like their boys program. The girls team is also very good.
Well, they're not that good.
No, well, yeah, they're good. They're tough. Okay. So tough game for Pequea Valley here. Back-to-back trips to states, 3rd time overall, and the first time Pequea Valley went to states 4 or 5 years ago, they played Imhotep Charter. Next up, Columbia, home game for the Tide, district runner-up. They play Loyal Sock. Out of District 4. I actually saw Loyal Sock this year. They played Lancaster Catholic in a one-day event kind of a thing. They're young. Their best player is a freshman, and her older sister is a sophomore, and she's really good. So tricky game for Columbia, but they play really well at home, and I'm sure they are spitting fire after losing to Catholic in the district final.
This game is like the Hempfield thing. 2 district runner-ups, and they're on Columbia's home court.
Tide gets a home game.
Boom.
And that's, tough place to play, and Columbia's fantastic at home. Lancaster Catholic, District 3 champ, won their 20th district title last week. I think we talked about that. They are also at home, and they get District 12 4th seed Pickett Mastery out of Philly Pub. Catholic's going to be playing for a while. They got a really great bracket. Catholic's going to be tough. And
is there anybody in 3A that you look at and say, well, Catholic would be a solid underdog against this team?
I'm looking at the bottom of the bracket. River Valley's pretty good. They have 2 losses. Whitfield champ Avonworth has 5 losses, so they're probably gettable.
All of our teams, boys and girls, this is one of the 2 or 3 that has the best chance to be playing.
I was thinking about this on the way over. I think I can say this legitimately. With 4 junior starters and 1 sophomore starter, and the top sub is a sophomore, Catholic has a 2-year window to win states. I really do. They're legit, really good, and if they play their A+ game and defend, they have a 2-year window here to win this sucker. So they got a really good shot here.
2A boys. Jonathan.
2A boys, Lancaster Mennonite is your District 3 champion. They will be at home on Saturday, 2 o'clock. I'll be covering this one. They will be hosting St. John Newman, the District 4 runner-up, who last year was in Class 1A and reached the 1A final. Not sure what they brought back. I do have some information. My email's waiting. I should have it in front of me. But anyways,
I can tell you a little bit about
as far as that top half of the bracket, it's pretty much all the top District 3 teams and then those out of Philly. I like the Blazers' chances in reaching the state quarterfinals. Beyond that, good luck, because then it's pretty much all Philly teams that you're going to be facing in the quarters.
Well, yeah, Constitution's in there. They're a name brand, and they won District 12. St. John Newman has a kid named Devian Hill who has offers from Maryland and some other D1s. He's a guard. He's been All-State 3 times. His brother played there. He has two brothers, both played there. The oldest one played in the NBA. He got waived this year, but I think he's on the Spurs G League team. So they were very athletic and tough last year. But obviously they're not quite as good this year, just going by the resume. I mean, they did not win their district title. And again, they were A last year instead of double A.
And remember, the Blazers have reached the state quarterfinals each of the last 2 years. The final year for Camden Hurst and David Weaver to get a shot at this, the All-State guard, and David Weaver, the big guy, who more than likely is going to be All-State and playing at the D3 level. Both of them should be playing D3 level next year. But this team, they brought a lot back from last year's state quarterfinal bunch, and they're making this run. And
somewhat similar to what we were just saying with Lancaster Catholic. I look at this bracket, I don't see anybody that I think, whoa, they got no shot.
And Mennonite's been playing up. I mean, if you remember, beginning of the year, I think they played like McCaskey and another Philadelphia team, 6A school. So they purposely scheduled tough for this time of year.
There you go.
2A girls, Jeffrey Reinhardt.
Lancaster Mennonite, they're the only team in. As we mentioned last week, had a forfeit win into the district finals, lost to Millersburg at the Giant Center, but it was fun to see the Blazers be there and get to play in that game. Silver medals, yes, but they got to play in the Giant Center, and they'll play a state game Friday night at South Williamsport, the District 4 champ. Enjoy that ride. That's the only 2A girls
At least
team
it's South
from local.
Williamsport.
Yeah, which, I don't know, still pretty far. Still pretty far. Two teams I see here, just eyeballing the bracket. Marion Catholic, the Phillies.
Very traditional power.
Always.
In the small schools, and
Yes, good to kind of see them back here playing at this level.
Only have 2 losses,
Yeah, and lower bracket, Red Bank out of District 9 is 25-1, but they're going to have to play some Whippeal teams in there along the way.
I noticed that Kennedy Catholic, who I think
they're always good,
is pretty highly regarded.
Yes.
They're in that bottom half of the
Yep,
bracket.
they're always good, and Shenango won the Whippeal title, so I'm
we
sure
just
they
like
will.
to say Shenango.
Shenango,
Yeah.
love it.
There you go.
Love
there
it.
you go.
Good luck, Mennonite.
this almost makes me want to put the mascot names in place of the teams and let the wife pick the winner, similar to March Madness. And
Yeah,
Shenango.
it's that March Madness thing.
Love it.
Yeah. All right, we're finally down to Class A. John.
All right, top half of the bracket, we have 4 teams from District 3, all from Lancaster County. I'm going to start at the bottom of the top half of the bracket. La Academia, 4th place team out of District 3, will play at Sullivan County, the District 4 champion, on Friday night. La Academia, 12-11 overall, coached by McCaskey legend Jerry Johnson.
There you go.
A couple matches up from them. Mount Calvary Christian, familiar with this stage and being in the 1A tournament. They are based in Elizabethtown. They are the 5th place team out of District 3. They will go to East Stroudsburg South High School, 5 o'clock tip, to face the District 11 champion Notre Dame East Stroudsburg. Game up from them, Lancaster Country Day, the 3rd place team out of District 3. They are 16-9 overall. They will go to Strathaven High School for a 5 o'clock tip to face District 1 champion Chester Charter Academy, 19-5 overall. And then finally at the very top of the bracket, for District 4, 3rd place team, North Penn Liberties, 14-11 overall, will play at Manheim Township High School Friday night, 7 o'clock. I'll be covering this one against District 3 champion Linville Hill Christian. This says 21-0. I think they're 22-0 overall. The back-to-back District 3 1A champs based out of Paradise, coached by Pequay Valley alum, former player Mike Schatzman. They brought 4 starters back from last year's state quarterfinal team. So they're very familiar with this stage, and
for this class, very big and athletic.
Yes.
And a very solid team. I mean, I don't know, nobody knows, I don't think anybody knows enough about these teams to know really what, I mean, the one team that in the other half of the bracket that catches my eye that I've heard about throughout this year is that Elk County Catholic, 25-2. From up in the
they're at the bottom half of the bracket.
Yeah, but they're in the other half of the bracket from Linville. Sure. I don't see why Linville can't play for a while here.
Out of all the teams that were talked about today, Linville Hill Christian has probably the best chance.
I would agree.
I
would agree with that. Yeah, at least on the boys' side. Yeah, maybe Lancaster Catholic on the girls' side, but yeah.
Yeah.
1A girls.
1A girls, 2 teams dancing. District 3 champion, Mount Calvary Christian. They beat Linville at the Giant Center last week to successfully defend their district title. So Mount Calvary, top of the bracket, 3-1. They play Shade out of District 5. On Saturday evening at 6 at E-Town High School. Mount Calvary's in E-Town. They're going to play the game in
It's
E-Town
the rare
High.
school name that's an adjective.
There you go. Yeah, really.
Shady.
Shade. How about that?
Seems a little shady to me.
The other one here, Linville Hill, they're in. They lost to Mount Calvary. And Linville Hill, if you look at your bracket, they're already penciled into the second round. The Warriors got a forfeit win. They were supposed to play District 12 champ, I think it's Thomas Mastery, which apparently forfeited.
Yeah. The only team, boys or girls, in any of these classes that is through to the second round already.
Linville gets a 2-0 forfeit win. That's got to be their, it's the first time that, no, they were in states. I think they were in states, but that's probably their first state win. Their AD wasn't even sure. I chatted with their AD this week, Dave Whitmer, and he just said, I don't know, but we're in the second round. So 12-1 must have forfeited. The team I have circled here in 1A girls is Williamsburg, District 6 champ. They're the team that beat Mount Calvary last year in the state quarters. Williamsburg's really good. I know the coach's kid plays, and she shoots threes, and she's outstanding. And I remember being really impressed with Williamsburg last year, and remember saying to myself, ooh, they have like their whole team back. So here's Williamsburg out of the lower bracket. Upper bracket, don't know. Linville will still be dancing. We'll see if Mount Calvary can win. There's a brand name school up there, Lord's Regional out of District 4, which has been here a million times.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and this bracket's kind of wide open, but keep an eye on Williamsburg.
It's single elimination now, gang. There's no consolation games. There's no play-in. There's no 5th and 6th place games. So the teams will start to eliminate themselves, and this will start to lead to the conclusion of the state finals in a couple of weeks at the Giant Center in Urgee. We're at the outset of it now. First round games Friday, Saturday.
Correct.
And then if you won Friday, you play Tuesday.
Correct.
If you won Saturday, you'll play Wednesday, and Wednesday is when we will meet again. This has been the LL Basketball Roundtable for John Walk, for Jeff Reinhardt, for Mike Gross, and for Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. See you later.